top questions that everyone is always asking me, starting with, is it a swingers cruise? This one's wild to me because everyone asks and thinks that it is a swingers cruise. Yes, I have had an interaction with a swinger on my first sailing, actually. My second and third, not so much. I didn't realize it until I checked my GoPro footage afterwards, and I was like, oh man, now I understand where that conversation was going. Didn't really understand at the time.
But this isn't necessarily a swingers cruise.
I mean, I don't know where that comes from, to be honest. Final answer, no. The top questions about Virgin Voyages cruise line.
The burning questions.
The questions you didn't even know you had.
I'm answering them all for you. And if you're new here, yo, I'm Christine Lozada with Where in the World is CL, and I make travel videos every week to help you get up, get out, and go travel. So if you like to travel, consider subscribing. I just got off my third voyage with Virgin Voyages, and I have several more booked coming up. And I want to help to answer the top questions. Is the food really that good? Yes, it is. So if you're someone like myself who loves dining in cities like LA and San Francisco and New York City and Miami, that is on par with the type of restaurant experiences and food that you'll get on Virgin Voyages. They really do have an elevated experience around the food. There's over 20 eateries on the boats. And the other thing is that all the restaurants are included. It's all inclusive eating and as much of it as you want. So that's an important thing to know. Not only is it really good, but it makes it really worth it because it's included in your cruise price. Which leads to this question. Is it expensive? And what's included? Maybe this is two different questions. Is it expensive relative to other cruise lines? No, it's more, I always thought Virgin Voyages was gonna be way more expensive, but it's not at all. I have a separate video of a breakdown of my Virgin Voyage costs versus my Royal Caribbean costs. If that's something that will help you, info in the description below. But it is on par with other cruise lines. But what's included with Virgin Voyages? A few things. All your food is included, and again, so there's no extra cost for specialty restaurants. All the gratuities are also included. I still like to show my appreciation to the staff because the service really is elevated. That is in my Virgin Voyages pack list, link in the description below, as well as a helpful video. Packing for this cruise line is different than other cruise lines. Wi-Fi is included, and that's a unique one because Wi-Fi is generally something you have to pay for on cruises. And not only is it included here, but it's also, it's fast. It's really fast and it works well, but if you need Zoom video, quality video, paying for the premium is worth it. I was able to do all of my Zoom meetings. Yes, I had Zoom meetings while I was on my cruises with them, but it's on average around $10 per day for premium Wi-Fi, which is like nothing compared to other cruises. All your workouts are included and all of your regular drinks. So regular drinks include things like drip coffee or water, and they have fill stations all over the boat. They provide water carafes for your room, and the housekeeping staff will bring water to your room. Then tea, regular juice, your sodas, all of that stuff is included. So they do sail a little bit differently than other cruise lines in what's included in the price. What's not included in the price? Your drinks! And no, there's no drink package, and everybody hates that, which is why I made a video about how much you will actually spend with examples of prices and menus, etc. because it is significantly less than I thought it would be, and I drink a lot. And yes, you can spend a lot of money. I mean, $55 for a glass of Dom? Oh yeah, that's awesome. But you don't have to drink Dom champagne if you're going out. You can also drink other wine, which on average, wine is between $9 and $11. Beers are around $5, $6, $7. And then you can get fine things like whiskeys on the rocks at their bar, or really nice mezcals or tequilas at Pink Agave. Yes, you can go way up, but the average price of a drink is significantly less than you think. And then there's also like specialty drinks. So if you want like smoothies, those tend to be around $10 or $11. If you want fresh pressed juices, those can be around $7 to $8. And then if you want things like coffee, like I love getting a flat white every morning, those on average are $4. Check the video in the description below. And if you're getting some value out of this, cheers that like button. And if you have a helpful tip, add it in the comments. We're all a community. And let's go on to the next question. Number 17 is it actually adults only, and what does that mean? Yeah, there are no kids on this boat, and it is awesome. It's one of my favorite parts, because when you have an adults only cruise, you get adults only entertainment, and it's just way more fun. Everyone acts like kids. There's just a lot of booze around, which is great. But this is an adults only cruise, which actually means 18 and up. So not 21 and up, 18 and up, adults only. Is Virgin Voyages a good cruise line? This is a hard question to answer because in my opinion, it's worth trying at least once. Sailing the Virgin Way is just different than any other cruise line experience, and it should be experienced by everyone. However, it's not for everyone, which is why I made a video that's actually on the Virgin Voyages homepage. So you can go check that out, info in the description below on that, and it will help you with 8 different things to consider. So you can ask, is it for you? Because, well, if you're a kid, it's not for you, but otherwise it will help you. And actually, a bundle-on question to this, a lot of people are like, is it too risque? It's not. It's totally not. Mom, Dad, you are coming with me on the next trip. I've gone on my 3rd one. I have 5, 6, 7, and 8 lined up, and I need you to come with me. It's going to be fun.
See, it can be a family affair.
Number 15, is the entertainment any good? Yes, it is. There's a couple different things to say here. One, music on board is awesome. They bring in a lot of really amazing artists and musicians, singers, etc. that will play like on the rocks or in the manor, and you have some really talented musicians here. Separately, the shows. The entertainment on the shows, it's different, and this goes back to the is it for you, right? An example being bingo. If you like to play bingo, it's drag queen bingo here, and it is fun, like really fun, but you're still playing for money, and there's like a really good pot, etc., etc. So it's different in that sense. The actual shows themselves, you can find everything from really cool acrobatics to other really cool dancing and singing shows. So it runs the gamut, and the entertainment, in my opinion, is really good. Oh, I have a video about the entertainment, so if you want like a taste of that and what it looks like, consider checking that out. Link in the description below. Ooh, one last thing that I want to like kind of take back from a video I said in the past. In my first cruises with them, it was very oons, a lot of like electronic music. They switch over the DJs a lot. And so I don't really have an opinion about what the music for the nightclubs are like anymore. On our latest sailing, DJ Sojo and Leo Medina, y'all killed it. It was awesome. You could kept the party going. It was really fun. So the DJs are always changing, and you'll get a different style of music there. Number 14 is about being boring. A lot of people ask, will I be bored on the ship? Like aside from eating and shows at night, like if this is adults only, what else is there to do? I actually really love the way one person put it. She had told me there were 40 options for activities before 6 p.m. That's a lot of activities. And some of those activities are anything from workouts. I love doing the boy band dance class or playing dodgeball, for example. There's lots of fitness activities. All the fitness stuff is included on Virgin Voyages with your cruising price. But then there are also other things. There's trivia, there's classes that you can sign up for, like Rice Baby, where you're learning to make sushi, or a coffee making class. Some of these are additional costs. They're very minimal, but there are lots of activities, many of them, most of them free, and a couple paid ones depending on what you want to do. Number 13 is around dressing up. Do you need to dress up for this cruise? I honestly, it's optional. Depends on how you feel about fitting in or not fitting in. This cruise is not fancy and formal. It's more fun. And so yes, dressing up for things like Scarlet Night. Every sailing you have with Virgin Voyages, there will be a themed entertainment and party night called Scarlet Night, in which everyone wears You guessed it, scarlet. And so everyone's wearing red, and you don't have to be fancy. If you buy a red t-shirt from Walmart, you're done. You can go put on a little clip-on bow tie. That makes it fun. So you have some fun themed parties. The other themed parties that we had, every time you sail, there will be a pajama party. And so bringing a fun pair of pajamas, totally optional. Not everyone wore pajamas. Or there was a disco night. So Meatball stole my wig, my afro wig, and he wore that along with also my glasses. And it was just really fun. So it's up to you. Even if you don't want to participate, ain't no one's gonna kick you out. But you don't need to pack any formal or fancy clothing. That's totally optional. Of course you can. No one's gonna stop you from doing that. You should be whatever you want to be comfortable. I like to wear tennis shoes in the nightclub so I can dance all night. Number 12, let's talk about that loot, that sailor loot. People always ask, what can I use it on? Most people think sailor loot can only be used on alcohol and specialty drinks. It goes way beyond the booze, and it goes way beyond the coffee and the smoothies and juices. You can use sailor loot on a lot of things. Some of the examples are, you can use them on excursions. So what they call shore things when you are at port. You can use them on excursions through Virgin Voyages. You can also use sailor loot, and you should, on food upgrades. And what I mean by that is all the food is included, but if you want freshly shaved truffles on your pasta when you're at Extra Virgin, the Italian restaurant, or if you want Wagyu beef when you're at Gun Bay, or if you want, oh, don't miss this, the seafood tower at the Wake, the full seafood tower is only $70. I just recently had a seafood tower in San Diego for $250. It was the same thing in a different location. Anyway, all that to say, you can use your sailor loot on things like upgrading your food. Oh, you can also use it for high street. There's a whole shopping area where you can find a lot of fun things to buy. Or you can use it at the spa. That's another one. Oh my gosh, the thermal suite. Oh, that's a must. That also comes with rockstar status. More info on that in a later question. But what's the best kind of sailor loot? Free sailor loot, and tons of free sailor loot. I didn't pay for a single drink on my last sailing. Yes, thank you to my friend who booked me on this cruise. He can book you as well with some really amazing deals and discounts. He has access to perks that you and I don't have access to. So info on that in the description below. Oh, and number 11, speaking of booking things, a lot of people ask, like, how do I book my entertainment? How do I book my shows? How do I book my dining? It all happens on the app on your phone. The app on your phone is where all the magic happens. And helpful tip, make sure you book your dining 45 days before you're sailing. On that day, put it on your calendar to go book your dining so you are not me and forgetting, because I have a lot of travel that I do. And I was just doing walk-ins everywhere I went. So book all of your dining 45 days in advance. And then it's not until you get into the port and onto Virgin Voyages free and included Wi-Fi that you can book the rest of your stuff. And helpful tip, that should be the first thing you do as soon as you get on board, or not even when you're on board. When you are in the port waiting to embark, you should be on the app booking all the things. Like, that is a secret tip, and I have more of those secret tips in the other video, link in the description below. Make sure you check it out, because only 6 people can get into the bungee class. Prepaying the bar tab. This is a big question because Virgin Voyages often has great deals where they will throw in extra money on top of a prepaid bar tab. Helpful to know, use it or lose it. You don't want to prepay a bar tab you ain't gonna drink. I'm sure that's not gonna be a problem, but if it is, that is a problem. The better way to do it, just try to get tons of free sailor loot by booking through amazing deals. Again, info in the description below. But one other way to do it is prepay your bar tab. But it's important that you watch the other video with all of the menu prices so that you can get a feel for what's right for you. And so that you can map out, all right, okay, maybe I will be spending around, $50 a day on drinks, or $150 a day on drinks, or buying the $299 bottle of Dom every afternoon, so you can do the math that's right for you. I'm a solo sailor. Will I have fun if I travel alone? Yes, this is actually a really great cruise line to go alone, and for a few reasons. One, they have the option for the Solo Sailor Insider, which is a smaller room with an insider cabin. Again, like no windows, etc. And that's a great option if you're a single person. Obviously, you can upgrade your room as a single person as well. But they also have daily meetups and events for solo sailors. And so that's another thing. You can meet other sailors really easily. And on the app, when you're on the app, it makes it easy for you to link up with those sailors so that you can invite each other to go to restaurants together or go to entertainment and shows together. The other thing is they have experiences for strangers to hang out together. I love dining at Gun Bay. You'll sit in a group with other sailors that you may or may not know, and you play a drinking game together over dinner. And it's been one of my favorite ways to connect with other sailors or hang out and book a group dining session with sailors that I've met on board. And if you're feeling anxious about being alone on the boat, then consider two resources. Consider going to Reddit within the forums. They have an area where solo sailors or all sailors can talk about which sailing they're on, so you can link up with people beforehand. And there's often Facebook groups that people will make organized by sailing and sail dates, so you can link up with people beforehand so you can have some friends before you go. Bimini in the Bahamas. What the heck is there to do there? What else are my options? There's a couple things. Well, the first thing to know actually is it's not your normal port. It's not the kind of port where you go in and there's like the whole little village with all the trinkets of things that you don't need to buy and the overpriced terrible food and drinks. Like there's no port like that within Bimini. When you come in, you're really jumping onto the tram, the free tram, and it will take you to one of three places. The place that most people go to is the beach club, which is fantastic. Helpful video about everything to expect there in the description below. The second place it stops is somewhere where you can pick up a golf cart if you want to ride around the island, or a boat if you want to rent a boat or a jet ski or something like that and go around the island. That's another option. And the third stop that it has is to the Hilton Resorts World. So if you like to gamble or you want to go hang out at the resort for the day, that's another option. But there's lots of cool tours on Bimini, whether you're doing them through Virgin Voyages and their shore things, or just booking a separate tour. Some of the top rated ones link in the description below. You can take a look at them. But those are some of the things that you can do on Bimini. And it's beautiful. Bimini's so beautiful. Oh, so pretty. Let's talk about rooms for a minute, because one of the top questions that people ask is, should I get a room with a balcony? Should I get a terrace room? One helpful thing to note is that the majority of the rooms on Virgin Voyage cruises are balcony rooms. In other words, over 80% of them are balcony rooms. I'll admit, in full honesty, I was surprised by how much time I spent in my room. The rooms are exceptionally comfortable, and spending time on your balcony is really nice. And so for me, I do prefer to have that option. But the other thing to know is that the majority of the rooms are that way. Or if you want a room in which half of the room is a balcony, the Mega Rockstar Suite is mega nice. I got to do a tour of the Mega Rockstar Suite, so if you want to see what that looks like, check out that video, link in the description below. A top question that people ask are the rooms nice? And you know my answer, but one of the things that makes it really special for me, aside from the really nice modern decor, is they also provide water within the rooms. And so your room attendant will actually ask you when you check in, do you want still water or sparkling water or both? And there's a quick button on the tablet where you can have them bring more water or fresh towels or whatever you need in your room. And so it's just very comfortable in the room and very pleasant because it's really beautiful inside the room. Can I have two people in a room and not in the same bed? Yes, so the room can have different configurations. So if you're traveling with someone who is not a significant other, you don't gotta share a bed together, don't you worry. You can move, there are ways that the room can be configured by the staff so that you don't have to have a pillow wall. And a lot of people ask because a lot of people think it's just a straight up party cruise. There's fantastic entertainment. Yes, there are options for nighttime glamorous parties in the manor that you can wear tennis shoes at, like I do, but it's not loud. It's actually quite quiet, which is very nice, but the rooms have really good, in my experience, soundproofing, so I haven't been bothered by the sound on this cruise. It ain't loud. Number 3 is around the rockstar rooms. And so a lot of people ask, like, should I upgrade and get one of the bigger rooms or the bigger suites? And you kind of have to ask yourself 2 questions. One is, do you really care about that bigger room and having more space to move around and spend time in your room? If it is, then yeah, that's probably a fit for you. The current rooms, while they're not tiny by any means, they're not insanely spacious. You're not, well, I do have dance parties in my room with Meatball, but that's a different story. So if you care about having a lot of space, I would say yes for that reason. And the second thing to consider is this. In other words, having rockstar status. So most people will get the red band, but if you are a VIP or you're in one of the rockstar suites, in other words, something larger than the normal terrace rooms, gives you this band. And this band gives you access to a lot of cool things. You can watch the full video about rockstar status and what that gets you, as well as a tour of that mega rockstar suite, link in the description below. But one of my favorites coming out of that was access to Richard's rooftop, in which you had a daily cocktail party where you got to hang out with the other rock stars and drink unlimited amounts of Moet, which I absolutely loved. The number 2 question that people always ask is, oh, is this, cruise for millennials and Gen Z, and or is everyone 20 years old? And no, they're not. Actually, a few studies have been put out, and the average age is between 30 and 60. I would say in my experience on my last 3 sailings, more people are celebrating their 40th birthdays, and a lot of people are mostly in their mid-50s and 60s. That's what I experienced. It doesn't mean that's what you will experience, but between 30 to 60 is the average that you will see on the boat. And the top question is getting the best deal possible. I thought I was tech savvy and knew all the different ways to save on a cruise. I mean, I even have a video about how to save on a cruise, but then I learned about some of the deals that you and I just don't have access to. And so thank you, JC, for all my free drinks and not making me pay for a single sip of Moet. That was fantastic. Anyway, you can book with him. Info in the description below. This was helpful. Cheers that like button. There's a full playlist, blog posts, and more. Check the info in the description. And if you have something helpful to add, we're all a community. Add it in the comments below. I'm Christine Lozada. Connect with me, and I'll see you on the next sailing because I'm on a lot of them. Cheers.